Throughout history and across cultures, women have been celebrated for their nurturing spirit, their compassion, and their ability to hold families together. Yet beneath these visible strengths lies something deeper. An inner toughness forged by silent transformations, shaped by the demands of society, biology, and the ever-shifting landscapes of their lives. This resilience is not innate. It is earned, often quietly and without fanfare, in moments of sacrifice and adaptation that seldom receive the recognition they deserve. One of the earliest and most profound shifts occurs at the threshold of marriage. For many women, marriage is not just the union of two people. It is a migration from the familiar warmth of their childhood home into an unknown world, often accompanied by expectations to immediately adapt and flourish. This transition is rarely discussed, yet its impact runs deep. The act of leaving behind parents, siblings, and the security of a place called home is more than symbolic. It is a rite of passage that demands emotional fortitude. Women learn to detach, not out of coldness, but as a way to cope with the loss of what once was, and to survive in a new environment where belonging must be relearned. Unlike men, whose sense of home often remains stable, women experience home as a moving target, and this alone begins to shape a heart that grows both more resilient and less naive. Biology, too, plays its part in forging strength. The ordeal of pregnancy and childbirth is perhaps the most visceral example. The pain endured during labor is unimaginable to those who have not experienced it, likened by some to the sensation of multiple bones breaking simultaneously. Yet women endure, survive, and emerge transformed. The body, so often underestimated or objectified, proves its capacity to expand, break, heal, and nurture life. The scars left behind are not just physical. They are reminders of a suffering that has been faced and overcome. The knowledge that one can endure such pain without being broken instills a quiet strength, a sense that future hardships can be met with the same resolve. Beyond the personal and biological, society imposes its own set of suppressions. Women continue to navigate a world where equality is more often promised than practiced. Whether in the workplace or the home, they are required to measure their words, manage their emotions, and perform a delicate balancing act that men are seldom asked to master. This constant negotiation chips away at innocence, forcing women to develop a protective layer, a shield that may appear as detachment but is, in reality, a necessary strategy for survival. They learn to distrust what is offered on the surface, to hold their true selves in reserve, and to armor up against the subtle and overt pressures that seek to diminish them. Betrayal is another crucible. Repeated experiences of broken trust by partners, friends, or even family teach women to be cautious with their hearts. The process of closing oneself off is not a choice made lightly. It is a response to repeated wounds, an act of self-preservation. To outsiders, this may look like emotional distance or heartlessness, but for women, it is survival, a way to protect themselves from further harm. Motherhood brings its own silent transformations. Beyond the joy and fulfillment, there is exhaustion, loneliness, and the constant reordering of dreams and priorities. Mothers often find themselves shutting down parts of their own desires so their children can thrive. This sacrifice, invisible to most, hardens the inner core, creating a strength that is both beautiful and bittersweet. Grief, too, is carried differently. Society often expects women to be strong for others, to suppress their own mourning and continue functioning. This forced endurance does not dissolve the pain. It calcifies, becoming another layer of toughness. Through all these experiences, women are repeatedly misunderstood. Their emotions are labeled dramatic, their detachment seen as heartlessness. Yet living in this paradox teaches them to stop seeking validation from others, and in doing so, they discover a quiet, unshakable strength. Ultimately, women's toughness is not about cruelty. It is the result of countless moments where life demanded resilience, sacrifice, and adaptation. It is a strength born of necessity, a paradoxical power that is both tender and unbreakable, shaped by the silent transformations that define what it means to endure.